Hello students, welcome to English class. Today I am going to give you explanation from your prime English lesson number 12, poem name The Panther. Students, before giving you the each stanza explanation, first I would like to give you a little gist about the poet who has written this beautiful poem. He was born in Prague, Rainer Maria Rilke. He was born in the year 1875 to 1926. He was a Bohemian Austrian poet, widely known for his intense lyrics in German. Rilke's early verse, short stories, and plays are characterized by romanticism. His poems show the influence of the German folk song tradition. Most of his works are deeply mystical. He not only tried to represent God in his poetry, but also attempted to transform life into art in his poems. At the same time, Rilke was acutely aware of the deep tragedies of living beings, humans, and animals alike, and his expression of their individual agonies is said to be still unsurpassed. This poem was translated from German by Jesse Lemont. Now, student, first one question I would like to ask you. Imagine yourself in the situation given below. Talk about what would you do in these situations. You can also talk about your feelings and thought in these situations, or even recall a situation that you have been, if any. Suppose you are alone at home for a day. You don't get to eat your favorite dish for a long time. You get locked in a room for a day. You don't get to play with your friends for a week. You have to attend a party where you don't know anyone. You cannot travel to any place for a year. Your brother or sister is sick and cannot go out of the house for a month. You see a puppy or a kitten trapped in a drain or pit. Now, these are the different situations, and you have to think that what feelings and what solution you could find from these problems. So, while keeping these points on mind, let's understand the tone and the importance of this poetry. Student, first I would like to tell you the tone of the poem evokes freedom, as the panther does not see the world and his visions are also confused. He is moving hither and thither helplessly. This poem depicts the agony of the panther that has been imprisoned. The mighty strength of the panther has been paralyzed and the tensed muscles have been arrested. Now, student, let us understand each and every stanza step by step. Now, first, his very glance from passing by the bars has grown into a dazed and vacant stare. It seems to him there are 1,000 bars, and out beyond those bars, the empty air. Now, student, can you see a few lines? The poet is giving a very emotional and contrasting relation in this poetry with a beautiful note. These depict that how people means in the very first stanza, the poet is depicting the panther. He depicts the picture of a panther being locked in a cage and is not able to go around as per its freedom. In the initial phase of the poem, the poet says that even though the panther is a strong animal, it has been locked in a cage room and is denied its freedom. Here, the poet says that since the panther is so tired that he is not able to realize where he is and can figure that there are only bars around him from all sides, and he cannot got from there no matter how hard he tries. Hence he keeps circling in the cage, thinking that somehow he could get out, and do not seems to be willing to get tamed. So in these lines, I hope you have understood the pathetic condition of the panther. Now let's come to move forward and see in the second stanza. The pad of his strong feet, the ceaseless sound of supple tread behind the iron bands, is like a dance of strength circling around, while in the circle stern a great will stands. Now, student, please understand in the second stanza, it explains that even though the panther is a strong animal, it seems like he has lost all the energy that he had with him. Panther is a strong animal, we all know this, but it seems that he had lost his energy, and it seems by this poem. Sometimes when he opened his eyes, a blurred image only would be visible, and that at times do create a confused movement in the cage by the panther. Sometimes he opens his eyes and sees an image which does not get registered in his mind, as it does not affect the heart. Now, student, it is very important to understand that the poet is, portraying the image of a panther. Here, the poet is discussing about the freedom that one needs and how much the panther would love to be in it, wild habitat. Since the vision is blurred, he circles in the cage and finally wishes if he was released for one day at least to enjoy himself at his habitat. Now, let's come to the last stanza. But there are times the pupils of his eyes dilate. Dilate, student, means widen. The strong limbs stand alert, apart, tense with the flood of visions. Now, student, flood of visions means here the poet is portraying the dreams of that panther that arise only to sink and die within his heart. Now, student, lastly, he states that since the panther has nothing to do other than circling in the cage, he loses his talents and likes of being in wild and eventually would get tired most of the time. That at times it may just open its eyelid, look at us, and go back to sleep, as he is not being energetic and is being caged and restricted from movement. Now, student, I hope you have understood that what is the theme and what poet is trying to portray through this poetry. In this poem, the poet describes about animals being caged and not free and not set free to move around in the natural habitat or environment, and no matter which animal it may be, the effect is same while being locked in a cage. They lose their interest in mobility and would be always at lethargy and sadness. This is a beautiful poem that shows how human could be cruel to animals and how the poor animals cannot do anything to help themselves. So I hope you have understood the theme, the basic message behind this poem, or you can say with the help of this poetry, poet has portray a pathetic condition of the panther, and it is a love towards animal which all humans should have in their heart, so that no animal should suffer the way this panther is suffering. I hope you have understood with the poem, and on my next video, I have given you my PDF also. Please look after the question answers also. And if you are having any doubt, you can ask your question on your online class. Thank you and have a good day.